Hello, welcome back to the channel. And we're going to start off with an apology. And that apology is because of this. If you watched the last video, you'll know what this is. It's the water bottle cover that I showed you how to make. Simple gear project number 1. And I said this was the simplest gear project going. Well, I lied, because it's not. This project, simple gear project number 2, is in fact the simplest gear project in the history of the world. So if you remember from the last video, this cover is designed to carry a 1 litre stainless steel water bottle and a few bits and pieces that go with it. I love this setup, and I think half the time when I go out, pretty much all I need is the contents of my pockets and what's in here. So let's have a look at what I've got in mind. So obviously I've got my water bottle. I've also got in here, in one of my little pockets, a little stainless steel spoon. I've also obviously got in here my little cup come cooking pot, and to go with that I've got my lid. And I think that's quite a good self-contained unit. This not only carries my water, but it can also be used for boiling the water up to make it safe to drink. And that's where the other pocket comes in, because in here what I've got is this, and this is a little filtration bag for filtering the sediment out of my water before I boil it up in my bottle. So this makes sense to keep in here with all the other bits and pieces, and it's there for just in case. Now I know there's quite a few people out there all saying, well yeah, that's nothing new, and you're quite right, it is nothing new. In fact, this is what the British Army have been issuing since the 1940s, and it used to go in a 44 pattern water bottle cover along with your water bottle and your metal mug. And all we did, filter our water through it into our water bottle, pop a couple of steri tabs in there, bob's your uncle, you've got safe drinking water. But if you've ever used one of these, and this is my old faithful one that I've had for years and years, you will know that if you put it away, it back in its bag or in the back of your water bottle pouch, the next time you come to use it, it stinks of mildew and mould, because these don't dry particularly quickly. So you've got to remember to dry them out and wash them out after each usage, ideally, and put them away. But we know in the real world that doesn't always happen. So all I've done is taken the standard Millbank bag, copy it, but out of some different materials, and this is what makes all the difference. This is double thickness parachute nylon. It's fast drying, it's an incredibly fine weave, so rather than relying on the fibres to swell up as it did with the original Millbank bag, this has an incredibly fine weave anyway. So it will filter, but it's also rot resistant and very, very fast drying. An excellent all-round choice. It's also super easy to make. So as far as materials go, well, there's a list coming up now. Equipment for this project couldn't be simpler. All you're going to need is your sewing machine, a tape measure, some pins, a Sharpie or similar felt tip, a pair of scissors and some thread. So the first job you're going to do is cut your parachute nylon to size. And here are the sizes coming up now. Next you're going to cut 2 bits of polypropylene webbing, and here are the sizes. And with that done, you're ready to start. And the first thing that you're going to do is lay the fabric out on the table in front of you so that it's got the long sides running away from you. You are then going to fold it in half, and you're going to stitch about 2 centimetres down from the top along that fold, just to hold it in place. With that done, you're going to lay it on the table flat again with the folded edge furthest away from you, and you're then going to fold it from left to right over like so. So again, it's been halved. With that done, pin down the open edge. Then, using your Sharpie or similar marker pen, on that open edge, 11 centimetres up from the bottom, mark a little dot. And then along the bottom edge, you're then going to mark another dot, and that is going to be 2 centimetres from the folded edge. And you've got one more dot, and that's going to be on the folded edge as well, and that's going to be 5 centimetres up. Just mark with a little dot. With that done, take your ruler and your Sharpie and draw a line from the 11 centimetre mark to the dot on the bottom edge, and from the dot on the bottom edge up to the edge on the folded side. Once you've done that, just stitch down your side and along those lines. Once that's all stitched, what you're then going to do is take your pair of scissors, you're going to trim close in, leaving yourself 2 to 3 millimetres from the stitched line. Then turn the whole thing inside out and pin the edge that you've just sewn, but from the other side. And you're going to do that about 5 mil from that edge. And that's about the width of your foot on your sewing machine, one side of it. So what you're then going to do is just sew with one edge of your foot of your sewing machine against the edge, and you're just going to sew right the way along. So down that side, along the bottom, and up that little bit on the outside edge. And you're nearly done, because the last two things you're going to do, the first is you're going to take your shorter piece of polypropylene webbing and you're just going to fold it in two and attach it to the top edge, and that's going to be your hanging loop. The other piece, well, that's optional. Well, what you can do with that is just sew that around the top edge, and it just gives it that little bit more rigidity. So that's my hanging loop, and that's my little extra bit of nylon, and that just holds that open slightly better for when you're pouring water through it. So as I said, a very, very simple little project, and this folds down to literally nothing at all. It's a fraction of the size and weight of its original Millbank model, but it's still very, very effective. It can also be used for carrying stuff. So if you're out on the trail and you haven't got a bag to put stuff in, well, you put it in there. You can carry quite a lot of blackberries in one of these. But I guess the acid test is going to be, does it actually filter water? Well, we're about to find out. In here, and a lot of my long-time viewers will recognise this, this is my other water bottle that I carry. And this one starts the day full, filled from a tap. I drink this one first, and then if I need to refill through the day from natural sources, I refill with this bottle. The red stripes remind me that this water has not been treated. Now, to simulate muddy, horrible water, what I've got in here is I've put a tablespoon of flour into my 1 litre of water, and what we're going to try and do is see if it will filter it out. So as with the original, you need to wet these out first. So you would just dunk it in your stream or your pond, wherever you're getting your water from. I then hung it up, and what we do is we pour the liquid in. We then let it run for a little bit, and on the original ones they had a little fill line. I'm just going to wait a few seconds so I can see it's running clearly through before I put my container underneath. So we're all good to go. Let's do it. And there you go. It's running nice and clear, and it's filling up my bottle. You can see it runs at quite a good rate, but it still filters pretty well. So there it is, all done. Here's my bag, and it's not done a bad job. Water's a little cloudy, but on the whole, pretty good. What we then need to do with these is we turn them inside out so that we can wash out any mud or anything that's left in there. And as you can see, it filtered an awful lot of that flour out. So I think this would be pretty good at lifting out vegetable matter, etc. I know when I did my video on water, I used my mini Morse scarf doubled up, and I used that as a water filter, taking it from a fairly turgid stream, and it did a very, very good job of removing all the vegetable matter suspended in the water. So there it is, a nice, simple and very, very quick project to do. You are talking about 15 to 20 minutes to make yourself a very usable little filtration bag. So there you go. That is my simple gear project number 2. The simple water filtration bag. A very, very easy project. It only takes 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes at a push to put together. It uses up little scraps of material, and it's a very simple, easy project to do, which you get years of use out of. And as I said, even if you're not using it as a filtration bag, you can use it for collecting stuff if you're out foraging. So it's a useful bit of kit to have in with your water bottle when you're out in the field. If you enjoyed this video, then remember, hit that thumbs up button to say you liked it, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have, remember, hit the notifications bell. That way you know when I've got new stuff coming up. If you want to follow me over on Instagram and Facebook, have a look down below in my description box, and there is a link to both of those. There is also a link to my Patreon page if you want to get involved with the channel, and you can also find my Etsy shop down there as well. If you click on the link that says Greencraft Shop, it will take you there. Over there you will find all sorts of wondrous things, including the Greencraft patch, my little Greencraft mug, there are my owl bookmarks, there's a whole range of stuff. There's some other new stuff coming up because there's going to be a big resupply in the next couple of weeks, probably around about the beginning of December, but I will give you the heads up first. And obviously if you're a Patreon, you will get the heads up before everyone else. First come, first served. That's going to include my leather patches. It's also going to be another load of the Mini Moors scarf, some EDC lights, possibly some guide pouches as well. So get yourself over there, have a look at those. Now, I was asked after the last video if the simple water bottle pouches would be available on the shop. Well, the frank answer is they weren't going to be. But as quite a few people have asked, well, I'm going to throw a question back at you. Viewers, what do you think? Should I put this up on the Etsy shop for sale as well? And while we're on that subject, would you like me to put these up on there as well? Let me know in the description box down below. I think that's everything. I've been Neil, and until next time, stay safe.